Good morning, team. It's Monday afternoon. I don't know why I said morning. Good afternoon, team. It's Monday afternoon and I'm sitting down to record another video. Mainly because I'm partially avoiding work. Great. New setup, new layout, new music, all that sort of stuff seems to be pleasing my one subscriber, so it's staying, and that's good news. I also want to continue on with the one topic theme, and interestingly over the weekend Facebook did its usual, hey, on this day 3 years ago. So on this day 3 years ago I actually posted a status which read that, what did it say? Pretty sure it's not just post-holiday blues, wondering if it's time to quit and rethink. And this was a point where I basically did exactly that. And that's what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about, because it's an anniversary, I think, pretty much, I wanted to talk around why I did what I did and quit the 9-to-5 corporate world, and without too much experience decided to start a business. Yeah, so the precursor to all of this stuff was basically, yeah, as I said, post-holiday blues. I came back from, I think about a month in Europe. I'd gone home to visit my friends and family in the UK. I did some traveling through the northern part of Europe, and really had a good time. And I think going into that holiday, I was pretty unhappy where I was working. And I think I always reassess stuff when I travel, and so when I came back this time around, I'm pretty sure I went back into it with a more open mind as to whether it was just me having issues about work, i.e. something that I just need to suck up and get on with it, or it was something I was actually going to do something about. I don't actually know when I quit at this point, so I would have already been running the company kind of like as a part-time thing slash hobby slash interest, and I guess the driver was really frustration, in all honesty. I've been doing the same kind of work for would have been about 8 years. I'd made my way up the corporate ladder, and then I switched within my industry to do the same kind of job, just differently, because I saw a gap within my CV that I thought needed to be closed, and I was very frustrated with the culture of the company that I was working in. I felt like I was not, I guess, fairly treated. I felt like I was putting the effort in, and this was really the first time in jobs that I always feel like I performed well, and I'd already been I was usually recognised for that within companies that I've worked within, and this was a company that wasn't really happening. And don't get me wrong, this isn't like throw the toys out the pram situation. I was truly putting in hard work and felt frustrated with where I was getting to, and it wasn't really explained properly as to why I was kind of being picked up and not felt like I wasn't performing within the company. Anyway, so I guess I got to the point where I just asked the question, what if? I asked the question, what if? Like, so what if I quit? Like, what's the worst that can happen? I had worked, as I say, for about 8 years. I'm a pretty good saver. Like, if I was to leave, I knew I was going to leave with like financial backing. I wasn't going to screw myself up from that. Realistically, financially, like, I didn't have a family. I didn't have like mortgage repayments. Really, my biggest outgoings were rent, food, my gym membership, and that was pretty much about it. You know, I'm not a frivolous spender on going out and alcohol and that kind of stuff. I don't gamble. I don't like smoke or anything like that. So things that don't take up large amounts of cash. So I literally got to the point where I was like, I'm not getting any older. I'm not putting anyone in any risk apart from myself, be it like financially. And so I was just like, what's the worst that can happen? Which is weird for me, bearing in mind I would not consider myself a risk taker. Like, I'm the kid who went to scout camp and got homesick, and scout camp would have been like, 5 minutes from my house. So I don't consider myself a person who would normally take that sort of risk. But I think when you're pushed into kind of like boredom, frustration, you just feel like you need to do something. I guess I've always been interested in running my own business. I always wanted to do that, but I always said that I wouldn't do that until I found something that I wanted to do. I think too many people start businesses just on a kind of like, oh, that's kind of interesting. And on top of that, the media, the photography, the videos that I was shooting, people were kind of saying to me, who didn't really know me, super well, were kind of saying, is that what you do for work? And my comment would always be like, no, I do something else. This is just kind of a sideline and I'm interested and yada, yada, yada. I guess having those comments for like 2 or 3 years, I think it was by that point, pair that with frustration. So that kind of like people recognizing that you've got a talent or whatever you want to call it, or an eye for it, or whatever the correct phrasing is. And then, pair that with frustration of I need a change, really kind of drove that. And that frustration wasn't born overnight. Like I was frustrated in the job before that, which is why I changed. And I did that job for like 3 or so years and basically became like a regional lead for that particular company. I changed jobs to, as I say, get that gap in that CV filled. I felt like I needed to get that experience. And then when I made the change, I didn't really feel that it was satisfying. And then, it was frustration of just being pushed and pushed and pushed. So I guess ultimately I really just kind of quit to do something different out of frustration, in the knowledge that I wasn't going to mess anyone else up. It was really only going to put myself at risk. Fast forward maybe a year or so later, and the industry that I worked in took a severe downturn. And a lot of people that I know have been out of work, still out of work, and it's difficult to find work. So I guess at the time, like I kind of left when the industry was still at a relative peak, and I wondered if I had made the biggest mistake ever. And I kept saying to people, like, I have literally either made the biggest mistake in my life by leaving this now, or I will hopefully ramp up, because I could kind of foresee that something was going to happen within the industry. So fast forward to now, and it's still a turbulent time for the industry that I used to work in. I guess it's a bit of a financially weird time as well. And a lot of people say to me, why on earth would you start a business up when you did? But I think if you can survive the rougher times, then you can surely get through the better times. So anyway, I hope that provides some kind of insight as to why I did what I did. It's 3 years since I did it. It's coming to the end of another month, and so I'll only have 4 months to work out whether this is financially viable. Still proving interesting, still learning, and I should probably get back to editing. Catch you guys.